All right, are we ready to start? Yeah. Let me fix this. Cool. All right, let's come to a seat on our mat. However comfortable that is for you. Maybe all the way on the ground, maybe on a block or a pillow. Maybe on your knees. Maybe not in a seat. You can lay on your back. You can come into child's pose. Really take whatever is most comfortable for you. I have a dog who just whined, so I apologize if he storms out here at some point in class. I'll do my best to not have that happen. Do whatever feels best for you here in this moment. If it's seated, if it's laying down, if you wanted to come to class just to see other faces, hear another voice, feel free to lay in Shavasana or Child's Pose the whole class or for as long as you need. Whenever you get to that space that you'd like to ground down in, take a couple of breaths in to allow yourself to just become present. Let your gaze soften or close your eyes. If you're seated, maybe rest your hands in your lap or on your knees. And before you move or adjust anything, take a full body scan from the tips of your toes all the way up to the top of your head and check in with where you are here physically today on your mat. Not where you were when you woke up this morning, not where you were when you pulled out your computer to sit down, not even where you are 5 minutes ago when we all popped onto this chat, but where you are right here, right now. Notice any tension in the toes, in the knees and the hips, maybe the eyes or the jaw, without judgment or critique, without needing to move or adjust, just start to notice how your physical body comes to the mat. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. With your next few rounds of breath, begin to slowly bring softness, bring space to those places that might be tight or tense. Imagine a string pulling you up from the top of your head towards the ceiling and then releasing your hips, releasing the toes, the fingers, letting your shoulders roll softly down your spine. Continuing to lengthen your inhales and exhales. And then checking in with the parts of ourselves that are harder to hear, harder to feel, harder to see, and harder to heal. Our mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. Noticing where those are here today on your mat. Allowing anything that wants to come up. Give it space. Give it a place to exist. Acknowledge it. Name it. Instead of shoving it down or pushing it away like we normally do or we're told to do, especially on our mat, right? Clear your mind, clear your head, let it go. That's really hard to just do. And we can't do that if we don't know what it is we're letting go or leaving behind or shedding. We have to acknowledge it. We have to let it come up so we can get it out. Take a few moments as you inhale the breath and exhale, lengthening and strengthening each round. To be honest and raw with where you are, knowing that wherever you are is okay, without judgment or critique, allow yourself to be there. And then with your next few rounds of breath, just like with the physical body, begin to bring space to those places that are tight and tense. Allow your heart to soften. Allow the space between your eyebrows to soften. As you continue those deep breaths in, focusing your attention on the breath, or maybe drawing in an Ujjayi pranayama, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Imagine breathing into that space between your eyebrows, your third eye, letting the breath slide down the back of the throat, out and around from your toes, back out into that space between your eyebrows, that third eye center. Your breath might start to sound like ocean waves as we heat up the body from the inside out. Take a couple more rounds of breath here, your own pace, your own time. exhaling all the way, maybe setting an intention for this practice, this class. Could be to focus on the breath. It could be to try something you've never tried before, or it could be simply to honor any of those 4 bodies that are here with you right now. Take a full breath in. An open mouth exhale. Let it go. Inhale deep. Open mouth exhale. Let it go. Take one more full deep inhale. Open mouth exhale. Let it go. Slowly drop your chin down towards your chest, keeping your gaze soft, your eyes closed for as long as feels good. Then inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Extend your legs long out in front of you. Give them a nice big shake. If you're on a block or a pillow or some sort of support, you might want to come off for this next part. You might stay on, it's up to you. Then recross your legs in the opposite direction. So whichever way feels really uncomfortable is probably the way you want. Just get it a little bit different. Switch up the hips. Again, you are more than welcome to keep your eyes closed. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Take one nice big stretch up through the fingers, lift your ribs off of your hips. And then exhale, hinge, take a gentle forward fold. As soon as you exhale and get all the way down, inhale, press yourself back up to a seat. Sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, bend your elbows, lift your heart. Take a tiny, tiny back bend, lifting up through the top of your head. Inhale, back through center, and exhale, hinge and fold. As soon as you get to the bottom, inhale, work your way back up. Sweep your arms overhead. Drop your right hand down to the ground, reach your left fingers up and take a big side body stretch through that left side. Left fingers are gonna reach out over the top of your head. Reach all the way from your fingers through that side body and down that left hip. Inhale, come up through center. Exhale, switch. Left hand plants, right fingers reach up and over as you take that side bend. Feel that stretch. Try to send your right hip down to the ground instead of letting it lift off the floor. Inhale, up through center. Exhale, bring your hands behind you on the floor. Fingers can face out or face your toes. Then inhale, lift up your heart. Keep your hips on the floor. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, come through center. And exhale to fold forward. Inhale, press your way up through center. Sweep your arms overhead. Right hand comes down, left fingers reach up and over. Take that side bend. This time, work your left shoulder down towards the ground. So twisting at the base of your spine, draw that belly button in. Notice anything tight or tense here. Inhale, unwind, untwist, come up through center. And exhale, switch. Right fingers reach up and over, and then drop that right shoulder down towards the ground. You probably won't twist very far. But feel if there's anything tight in the shoulder blades, the lower back, the hips. Inhale, reach back up through center. Exhale, drop your hands behind you. Take any of those first 2 options, or inhale, lift the heart, lift the hips. Take it a little bit deeper. Exhale, sit your hips down, come through center, and hinge to fold. Inhale, press your way back up. One more time, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, drop that right hand down, left fingers reach over, take that side stretch, and then inhale, lift the heart up towards the sky. Try to keep your hips level on the floor as you open up. Notice any difference here. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, unwind, untwist. Inhale, through center. Exhale, opposite side. Left hand down, right fingers reach up and over. Find that side stretch, and then inhale, open up. Reaching your left shoulder towards the sky. That can stay nice and strong, so no wrinkles in the back or the front. Think about reaching up and out of your hips. In and exhale, unwind. Inhale, come up. And then hinge and forward fold. Hold here for a full round of breath in and out. If it feels okay to roll over your knees, lift your hips, roll over your knees, and come into tabletop. Or swing your feet around you on the mat to find your way into tabletop. Gently find your way here and take whatever you need to take. So maybe tuck the toes and sit back on the heels. Spin your fingers around towards your knees. Rock forwards and backwards. Listening in to that inner cellular intelligence as we move. Knowing that my voice, my practice is just a suggestion. Really honestly taking what feels good to you. Even if you don't know what it's called or what you're supposed to do. Then find your way into a neutral tabletop. So wrists come underneath your shoulders, fingers spread nice and wide, fingertips press down into the floor. Take a full breath in and lift the heart, let the belly fall, come into cow. Exhale, round the pelvis, draw the belly up into your spine. A little cat, a little class cat-cow. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale to tuck it in. Take this your own breath, your own time for a few rounds. Inhaling to drop the belly, lift the heart. And exhaling to round the shoulders, press in. Try to make the movement in the breath one, lessening the time you spend at the top and the bottom of your inhales and exhales. Take a couple more rounds here, in and out. Finishing up wherever you are, and coming back to that neutral tabletop. Walk your hands just in front of your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. Inhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees. Hold here. Begin to feel that activation through your core, through that Uddiyana Bandha. As you press through your hands and press through your toes. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, lift the hips up and back. Find your way into downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Take whatever you need to take. Bend the knees. Send the hips a little bit higher. Full breath in and a full breath out. Then inhale, look forward, bend your knees. Take as many little steps or as big of steps as you want to come to a forward fold Uttanasana at the top of your mat. Feet together, hip distance. Knees bent as much as you need or want. Opposite hand comes to opposite elbow as you fold. Let the head and neck dangle. And release. And switch the grip on your hands. Inhale, another full breath. And exhale, let it go. Let your hands fall to the floor. Inhale, lift halfway. Reconnect that pelvis and spine. Level the weight out on your feet as you send the top of your head forward, your hips back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, press through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Reach up towards the sky. Exhale, bend your elbows, squeeze your glutes, lift the heart, little back bend. Inhale, up through center. Exhale, right arm down. Left fingers reach up and over, take a side stretch. Your own variation if you have one you like more. Inhale, reach up through center and switch. Left arm down, right fingers reach up and over. Weight stays centered in the feet. Inhale, up through center. This time, exhale, drop your right hand behind you, left arm in front. Take a standing twist. Inhale, through center. And exhale, left arm back, right arm forward, standing twist. Inhale, through center, reach up. Exhale, your back bend, maybe a little bit deeper, maybe not deep. Inhale through center and exhale, hinge to take that forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, release, plant your palms, step your feet to the back of your mat. Find this high plank and hold. Press your toes into the floor, heels to the wall behind you. Engage that core, squeeze your belly. Floating through a few variations here for Vinyasa flow. Inhale, rock forward to the tips of your toes. Exhale, drop down to your knees. Untuck your toes. Bend your elbows lower all the way to your belly. Little to no weight in the tops of your hands. Tops of the feet press into the floor as you inhale, lift up just your heart, strengthening that low back. Exhale, release. Plant your palms. Find your way through tabletop, then tuck your toes into high plank. Inhale, a full breath here. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, rock forward, high plank. Take that first variation if you want. Or exhale, bend your elbows lower halfway and hold. Maybe release all the way. Inhale, flip the heart, cobra, or upward facing dog. And exhale, roll back into downward facing dog. Knowing you can take those as often as you want. Anytime we Float back to down dog. You can take it or you can skip it. Your choice, really. Inhale, full exhale. Inhale, rock forward to high plank. Exhale, drop down to your knees. Sit back onto your heels, but keep your chest lifted. We're just coming into a little seat on our heels. Send your knee, I like to send my knees a little bit wider, and my toes come to touch a little bit, but not totally. We're just really creating space for movement. We're gonna do a little flow here. So movement in the hips and space. It just feels better for me, but you take whatever feels good for you. On your next inhale, lift up off of your heels, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, sit your hips back towards your heels as you gently forward fold into this really big child's pose. Inhale, reach your fingers long. Then exhale, walk your hands over, your whole torso over to the right side of your mat. Bring your right hand to your right heel. As you inhale, reach your hips up and your left arm overhead. Take a one-sided camel into child's pose and then through the other side. So exhale, release down, walk your way through child's pose to the left side of your mat, left hand to left heel, right arm reaches up and overhead. Hip points, press forward. Exhale, fold through child's pose as you inhale over to the right. And then exhale through child's pose to the left. Take this your own breath, your own time as you start to heat up your own energy, maybe keeping the pace slower or starting to pick it up. Couple of rounds here. Your own breath, your own time. Inhaling to reach up, just like cat-cow as you exhale to fold. Notice that yoga is really only like 4 postures with different variations to gravity. So this is very similar to that cat-cow or those forward folds, back bends. Inhaling to lift, exhale to fold. One more round each side till you find your way back to center into child's pose and release. Arms reach long. Adjust the feet and the knees as you need. Maybe stretch your arms wide onto your mat. If your shoulder blades and your upper back are tight, as they probably are right now, reach your fingers as far forward as you can in child's pose. Spread your fingers wide. Press down through your fingertips and lift your wrists off the floor. Your forearms, your elbows, all parts of your arms. So your fingertips press down, your arms lift up. Really helps to get into those upper back, the shoulders. Inhale, one more breath here. And exhale, release. Your next inhale, find your way back into tabletop. Reset, tuck your toes, take a breath in, lift the knees, and exhale, send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Paddle the feet out. Do what you need to reset. Then inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Step or hop your way to the top of your mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Let your head and neck dangle. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Press through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, rise to stand. Exhale, take a little back bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. Inhale, find length, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Step or hop your feet to the back of your mat. Take that flow if you want, or just find your way into downward facing dog. Your choice. Once in down dog, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Then inhale, reach your right toes overhead. Bend your knee, open that hip, find what feels juicy and delicious and good. Then inhale, send your toes long. Square your hips down towards your mat as much as you can. Inhale, lift the foot a little bit higher. Exhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat. Drop down to your back knee. Untuck your back toes. You can always roll your mat over, put a pillow under that back knee if you need or want. Then inhale to rise up to a low lunge. Bring your arms overhead. Exhale, take a little back bend as you press your hips forward. Inhale to rise up. And exhale, shift the weight over that back knee. Flex your right toes back towards your face as you forward fold. While we fold, think about keeping your heart lifted over the top of your toes. Maybe a slight bend to that front knee. If you have blocks or pillows or books or whatever, you can frame that front foot to bring the floor to you. Or you can put that block at the bottom of your foot. Whatever works here, opening up the back of the legs, the hamstrings, the calves. Maybe point and flex that front toe. See what feels better. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, plant that foot back down. Plant your palms onto the floor. Tuck that back leg. Lift your left knee. And send your right leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Exhale, down dog. Pedal it out. Switching sides. Inhale. Reach your left toes overhead. Woo, lots of cracks. Roll your ankle, bend your knee. Open that hip. Find what feels good here on this side. Then on your next inhale, send your toes long behind you. Exhale, try to square your hips down towards the ground. Inhale, send your left toes a little bit higher. Exhale, step your left foot to the top of your mat. Maybe a bunch of little steps, maybe one big. Drop that back knee down to the ground. Untuck your back toes. Inhale, find your balance, rise up. Reach your arms overhead. Exhale, take a little back bend. As you press your hips forward, think about at the same time pulling that left hip back and pressing your right hip to square it out a little bit more. You might feel it deeper in that hip flexor. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale to shift back. So your hips come over that right knee about 90 degrees. Your left toes flex towards your face. Maybe a slight bend in that left knee. So instead of really like arching in and curling down, rounding the spine, we want to think about lifting the heart up over our toes. So if blocks or pillows or blankets help to bring the floor to you, so you can keep that belly button engaged as you hinge and fold. Think about that nice long juicy spine. Go ahead and try that. Inhale. And exhale, plant the foot, plant the palms, tuck your right toes, lift your right knee, send that left leg up and back, three-legged dog, and release, down dog. Pedal it out. Also, feel free to drink water or stop or tea. I'm really bad at like cueing that ever, so just know you'll catch back up. Inhale, look forward, bend your knees, step your way to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, press through your feet, sweep your arms overhead, reach all the way up towards the sky. As you reach up towards the sky, let your shoulders come out of your ears. Maybe bring your palms to touch your hands down by your side for just a breath or two to reset your practice. Refine that balance in your feet. Refine that breath if you've lost it, that pranayama. Release anything that might have started to grip or gain tension. Maybe turn the corners of your mouth up because this is really fun, I hope. Your next inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Bring your palms to touch if it's okay for your shoulders. And exhale, sit back into your chair pose. Weight is centered on your feet. Feet are together, hip distance apart. Try to neutralize the spine. So now, no cow, no cat. Spine, come into that nice neutral hip position. Lift the belly button up off of your thighs. As you hold and breathe, press the weight down into your feet, but level that weight out so you can wiggle your toes just a little bit. Inhale, full breath. I know this sucks, but it's so good for you. One more inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms on the floor, step your feet to the back. Here's that option to take that vinyasa flow, lower halfway or all the way, or just press your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Full breath in, and a full breath out. Inhale, lift the right toes high. Exhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat. Take a full breath in. Drop your left heel down towards the ground. Then rise up, find warrior one. Take some time to really find this and adjust. So maybe you have to step that back foot in a little bit to bring the heel to the floor, or to bring that front knee over that ankle. And widen your feet out if you need. The goal here, right, is working on shoulders and hips towards the front of the mat. So if your base needs to be wider, make it wider. Inhale, reach your arms up. Lift your ribs off of your hip spine length. Exhale, interlace your fingers behind your low back. Inhale, press your hands down, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Try to get the outside of that right shoulder and the inside of that right knee as much as you can. If this doesn't feel good, unlace the fingers or just drop your torso down towards the thigh. Take your choice, your option. Inhale. Exhale. Let your hands come down to the floor. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Reach your left arm overhead. Find triangle pose. Maybe bring a block or a pillow underneath that right hand to help bring the floor to you. Or maybe press the outside of that right hand, the back of that hand into the right shin. Gaze might come up overhead, or it might go out in front. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, bend into that right knee. Find extended side angle. So fingertips come over the top of your mat. Your left fingertips. Your right fingertips might come to the floor. Maybe your right forearm to a thigh. If your torso is tilting down towards the ground, bring that forearm to your thigh and open the chest up. Reaching the left fingers out overhead will give you one line, fingertip all the way down your side body into the outside of that left foot. Inhale, full breath. And exhale, release. Bring your shoulders to square the bottom of the mat. Lift your left heel off the floor. Straighten that front leg. We're in like an extended pyramid pose, right? But if you want to take a more traditional pyramid pose, you can step that back foot in a little bit to drop the heel to the floor and fold over your front leg. Again, if you have blocks, you can put those under your hands or fan your foot. Always know you can bend into that front knee. Never hyperextend it. Inhale, full breath. And exhale, let it go. Using your blocks, or maybe just your hands, take a bend into that front knee, and then bring your hands out to about 11 and 1 o'clock on your mat. Lift your back leg off the floor. Level your hips out towards the ground, standing splits. Think about pressing through that right leg as you drop your left hip down towards the ground, flexing or pointing your left toes. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, find length as you press that foot back, and exhale, bring your left knee behind your right knee for Shiva squat. Hands can stay on the floor, or maybe your hands come to your heart for a little balance challenge. Lift the belly button as much off the thigh as you can. Inhale, and exhale, return, standing splits. Full breath in, and a full breath out. Inhale, press through your front foot. As you rise, come all the way up into one-legged mountain pose. If you need to tap that foot down as we come forward, feel free. So your left knee is lifted, right leg plants into the floor. Inhale, stay here if this is what you want or what you need. If you want to go more, you can squeeze your knee in towards your chest. If you want to go more than that, interlace your fingers underneath your foot or use a strap or a block or a blanket or rope and send that leg long. Then inhale, stand up taller. Exhale, bend the elbows. Woo! And then release that leg back. Come into standing splits. Drop your foot down towards the floor. Plant your palms on the ground. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Take your own little flow, or just press your way into downward facing dog. Full breath in, and a full breath out. Switching sides, inhale, lift the left foot high towards the sky. Exhale, step that foot to the top of your mat. Drop your back heel down towards the ground. As you inhale, inhale to rise up, find warrior one. Sweep your arms overhead. Take that deep bend in your front knee and send your front knee out over your pinky toes. Try to work your shoulders and your hips towards the front of your mat, so widen your base if you need. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, interlace your fingers behind your low back. Inhale, press down through your hands, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Take humble warrior. Noticing any differences on this side compared to the last side. Full breath in, and a full breath out. Inhale, release your hands, straighten that front leg. Bring your left hand to the floor or to a block. Reach your right arm overhead, find triangle. Imagine yourself between two plates of glass as you lift through the top fingers and twist. Inhale here. Exhale, bend your left knee. Keep your hand on the floor, bring your forearm to thigh, but stretch your right fingers out over the top of your mat. Let that right shoulder come out of your ear. Extended side angle. Reach through the right fingers all the way down your side into the outside edge of that back foot. Inhale, full breath. And exhale, release. Shoulders come down to frame the floor. Take a full breath in as you lift the back heel and find pyramid pose. Either in this extended pyramid or step your back foot forward. Play with what feels good on each side. Maybe framing that front foot or lifting yourself up a little bit higher. Inhale and exhale. Using your blocks or a couch or just your hands. Take a bend into that left knee. Send your hands out towards the top of your mat, about 11 and 1, and lift off that back leg. Standing splits. Press through the left hip as you drop the right hip down, square your hips towards the floor. Point or flex your right toes. Inhale, lift, find a little bit of length. And exhale, bring that right knee behind your left knee. Little balance challenge, find Shiva squat. Hands might lift off of the floor. Inhale, full breath. And exhale, send it back long. Inhale, find length, send the toes long. And exhale, rise all the way up to stand. Squeeze your belly button in, squeeze your core as you bring your right knee in towards your chest. Stay here if this is what you want, if this is enough. Flex your right toes back towards your face. If you want to go more, squeeze that knee in towards your chest. Maybe hold here. If you want to stretch that leg out even more, interlace your fingers or use a strap underneath your foot. Send that leg long. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, bend your elbows, knee to nose. Pull it down. Inhale, stand tall. And exhale, swing your foot back. Standing splits. Drop your right toes to the floor, plant your palms. Step your left foot back. Find down dog or take a flow to get there. Then refine that breath all the way in and all the way out. Inhale, look forward, bend your knees. Step your way to the top of your mat, forward folds. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, folds. Take a deep bend through your right knee. Bring your right hand to the floor to a block or your right forearm to your thigh. As you inhale, reach your left arm overhead. Find this twist. Maybe roll the ankle or give the arm a nice big swing. Inhale, reach up higher, twist deeper. Exhale, untwist, switch. Deep bend in the left knee, left fingers to the floor, a block, or forearm to the thigh. As you inhale, reach your right arm overhead. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Maybe swing your arm around. Nice. Little forward fold twist. And then exhale, release, forward fold. Let your head and neck dangle. Inhale, press through your feet, sweep your arms overhead, rise back up to stand. Palms come to touch overhead. As you exhale, sit back, chair. Full breath in and a full breath out. Draw that belly button up. Engage that Uddiyana Bandha. Lift your ribs out of your hips. Inhale here, and exhale, sit deeper. Inhale, lift your hips. Exhale, forward folds. Plant your palms on the ground. Step or hop your feet back. Take your own flow, or just send your hips up and back. Taking a challenge in your practice or being gentle to yourself. Full breath in, and a full breath out here. Then inhale, lift your right toes overhead. Exhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat. Drop down to that back heel. Inhale, rise up, find warrior one. Let it sink and settle into your bones, into your muscles. Then inhale, reach your arms high. And then exhale, interlace your fingers behind your low back. Inhale, press your hands down, lift your heart, pull your shoulder blades together. And exhale, hinge to fold, humble warrior. Inhale, straighten your front leg, release your hands. Reach your left arm overhead, find your triangle. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, bend that right knee. Reach your left fingers out towards the top of your mat. Take that extended side angle pose. If you would like to stay here, you can stay here. If you have a bind in extended side angle, which I don't, so don't really watch me, but you can reach that right arm underneath your thigh, grab onto your left fingers. Or you can lift and lunge, take a little bit of half moon. Bring your hand out in front of your foot. That left foot to lift off of the floor, half moon. Whether you're in extended side angle, you're bound, or you're lifted, take another full breath. And then exhale, tap your toes back down to the ground. Release the shoulders to square the front of your mat. Find your pyramid pose. So straight-ish front leg, maybe back heel lifted. Maybe set that back foot in, find pyramid. Inhale here, and exhale. Inhale. Take a bend through that right knee as you lift and launch off of the back foot. Standing splits. Inhale here. And exhale, Shiva squat. Bring your hands to your heart if that feels okay. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, send your left foot long. Tap the toes back down one more time to the floor. Then inhale, lift the heart, lift the chest, find high crescent. Exhale, airplane your arms behind you. Send the chest forward. Inhale, lift the arms. Take that airplane variation one more time. Or lift and launch off that back foot for warrior three. Arms can come back, hands to heart, arms overhead. Your choice. Inhale, one breath. And exhale, rise up to that one-legged mountain pose. So left knee comes into the chest. You can step that foot down and shake it out. You're not a hero by doing this without pausing, I promise. Inhale here. Bend into that right knee, cross your left ankle over your right knee and sit back. Take figure four. You can always come to the couch or a wall, your choice. Stay here in figure four, or slide that left foot down towards the right side of your mat, take eagle legs. Maybe toes rest on a block or wrap around your calf. Find your drishti, your thing to stare at. Arms can swing overhead if you want to take eagle arms. Left arm will come under right, wrap around and grab. Maybe just give yourself a big hug. Maybe take chair and eagle arms, or no arms and eagle legs. Your choice. In and exhale, unwind, unbind, lift that left foot, and then set it down. Shake it out. We're so close to coming down towards the ground and relaxing and resting. You've got this. One more side here. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, sit back, chair pose. Find the breath. Try to take away the attachment of these postures. So instead of, I love this, I hate this, start to notice how it feels in the body. Letting go of any attachment. Inhale, lift your hips. Exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Step your feet to the back of your mat. Find your vinyasa or meet in down dog. In down dog, take that full breath in. And a full breath out. And then inhale, left toes come overhead. Exhale, step your left foot to the top of your mat. Drop down to your right heel. As you inhale, rise, find warrior one. Nice. Deep bend in that front knee. Inhale, reach up, find length. Exhale, interlace your fingers behind your low back. Inhale, press your hands down, lift your heart. And exhale, hinge, fold, find humble warrior. Release your hands as you inhale, straighten that front leg. Reach your right arm overhead, find your triangle pose. Stretch up, fingertip to fingertip, full breath in. And then exhale, bend that front knee, bring your forearm to your thigh, reach your right fingers up and over the top of your mat. Right shoulder sits back into the socket. Full breath in, extended side angle. Stay here if this feels good, or you can take a bind, or you can lift and launch off that back foot for half moon. Your choice. There's no right and no wrong. You can also totally come out of it and just stand up and take a breath. Wherever you are, one more full breath. And then exhale, release. Tap the toes back down towards the ground. Spin your right shoulder down towards the floor. Lift your right heel off the ground. Step it forward or take that extended pyramid. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, step that foot off of the floor for standing splits. Inhale, find length. Exhale, right knee comes behind your left. Shiva squat. Inhale, send it long, and then exhale, tap your toes down towards the floor. Inhale, rise up, find high crescent. Exhale, sweep your arms behind you for airplane, send the heart forward. Inhale, rise back up. Take airplane one more time. Or exhale, lift and launch off that back foot for warrior three. Arms can come to your heart, overhead or back behind. Inhale, press through your front foot if you're in crescent or warrior three, and reach your right knee up towards your chest. One-legged mountain pose. Awesome. Y'all are champions, warriors over here. Full breath in, bend through that left knee, cross your right ankle over, sit back into your figure four. Stay here if this feels good. Or slide that right foot down towards the left side of your mat. Eagle leg, squeeze it in, find that compression. Maybe take the arm variation, sweep your arms overhead. And then bring your right arm underneath your left arm. Woo. Find something to stare at, lift your elbows higher. Pull your hands away from your face and squeeze. One more breath in. And exhale, unwind, untwist, rise to stand. Stretch it out. Shake it all around. Woo. Y'all doing so good. So happy. Come back, top of the mat. Maybe close your eyes, soften your gaze. One more time, check back in. Palms can come to your heart, down to your side. See how you're doing in all four of those bodies. Then inhale, press through your feet. Sweep your arms overhead. Reach up one last final time. As you exhale, hinge and fold. Plant your palms to the floor. Step your feet to the back of your mat and find down dog. Flow or just step there. Inhale, reach your right toes overhead, three-legged dog. And exhale, bring your right knee behind your right wrist, toes towards the left side of your mat. Send your left leg long on the floor behind you. We're coming into pigeon. If you know this doesn't feel good, you can always take pigeon on your sits bones, crossing your right ankle over your left leg. Or you can come down to your back and even send that foot high. So many options, taking what feels best for you. If you're in pigeon and you wanna fold forward into sleeping pigeon, feel free. Take a couple of full rounds of breath here. Slow it all the way down. Pigeon is a posture that takes so much time to let the hips open up and release. So be gentle, be kind with yourself if it feels really tight and tense. If you're in full pigeon, try to keep that right hip parallel to the ground. So maybe slide a blanket or a pillow or a block underneath your hip. We never have enough time to dedicate to pigeon. I always feel bad, but we get as much out of it as we can. If king pigeon is in your practice, slowly find your way up off of your arms, your forearms. Send your left heel up towards your sits bone. Reach back with that left hand. Open the heart. Take that quad stretch. Inhale here, or wherever you are. And exhale. Release your foot. If you are on your sits bones or on your back, slowly come up into a seat. If you're in pigeon, rock your right hip down towards the ground and swing your left leg around. So we'll all meet in this seat with the right foot into the left thigh. Inhale, reach your arms up high. Exhale, turn your torso over that left leg as you hinge and fold. Maybe grabbing onto your pants or your toes, your foot. Maybe just thinking about keeping that heart lifted, the spine long as you fold. Inhale, full breath. And exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly rise back up. Bring your right arm overhead, then drop it to the ground behind you. Reach your left fingers towards the sky. Inhale, lift your hips. Plant that left foot down. Stargazer. Exhale, release. Bring your hips back down to the floor. Swing your left leg back and around. If you're coming into full pigeon, if you're on your sits bones or your back, you can just lay back or switch sides. So left leg comes back and around. If you're doing full pigeon, find your way up and back into down dog, and then switch. Left toes come overhead and swing that foot around into pigeon. Send your right leg long if you're in full pigeon. And release down whenever you're ready. Try to keep your toes flexed back towards your knee joint as much as you can. And again, maybe slide a block or a pillow underneath that left hip to keep your hips parallel to the floor. I'm so sorry, y'all. I don't know who's calling me, but if you have a king pigeon in your practice, you can go ahead and lift that right heel towards your sits bones. Reach up and back with that right hand. Lift the heart. Try to bring the shoulders to the top of the mat. Square them out. Inhale, one more full breath. And exhale, release. Back toes come down. Left hip comes to the floor. Swing that leg around towards the top of your mat. If you're on your back or your sits bones, come to a seat. Left foot comes into that right thigh. Inhale, reach your heart, and exhale, fold. Nice. Let your head and neck dangle. And fold. Release any tension. Try to bring the focus back into that breath, back into that grounded space. Inhale, lift up. Left hand comes high. And then drop that hand behind you. Reach your right fingers up. Hips lift up towards the sky. Right foot plants. Exhale. Release your hips down. Swing that right leg back. Come into that pigeon. And if you're in a seat, you can stay seated. If you're not in a seat, we're gonna go ahead and stretch those legs back out in down dog, or feel free to take down dog again if you even are seated. And then if you're in down dog, you're not seated, slowly walk your hands and your feet together in the middle of your mat. Widen your feet out towards the sides of your mat, and then sit back into a squat for as long as you need or want. We're just coming all the way down to the ground. So, a way to get there. If you're already there, kudos. I just did that for fun. But inhale. You can move that big, beautiful muscle up out of the way. Reach your arms overhead. Flex your toes back towards your face and hinge to take this little fold. A full breath in and a full breath out. Feel free to let your head dangle and hang heavy. Fall towards your legs. And slow the breath back down. Bring it back to those deep inhales and exhales. Keep the mind clear, or maybe allow yourself to work through anything you need to work through. Inhale, release, come back up. If it feels okay and you want to take it, bring your hands behind you on the mat, fingers to face the toes. You can inhale and just press through your hands to lift your heart, or you can lift your hips, come into a reverse plank. Your choice. Inhale here, full breath. And then exhale, release your hips down. Slowly bring your shoulders all the way to the floor. Knees come into your chest. Give them a big squeeze. Full breath in here and a full breath out. Send the soles of your feet up towards the sky, legs up the wall. You can point and flex your toes. If the back of your legs are still really tight, press your heels up towards the sky. Maybe pull your legs back towards your face. Or just let your toes press up towards the ceiling. Take maybe a slight bend in the knees. Let the blood rush the opposite direction. Inhale here. And then exhale, bring your heels down towards the ground. Bring your feet down towards the ground. Bring your heels as close to your sits bones as you can. If you have a block or a pillow or something, a bolster, you can take, we're going to do a couple rounds of bridge. So you can take this restorative by sliding that right underneath your hips and just resting in that position. Or if you want to take it a little bit more active, take a full breath in and exhale, press your low back into the ground. Feel your hips shift, tilt. Inhale, lift the hips, press through your feet, squeeze your thighs together, draw that belly button in. Arms can come by your side or interlace behind your low back. Inhale and exhale, lower. Your next inhale, lift your hips, find another round of this. Take a couple of breaths in this bridge. Hands might also come to your low back as you press your hips up towards the sky. A couple of variations. And exhale, lower. Take that bridge again if that feels good, or if you're in restorative, that's perfect. If you want to go deeper, bring your hands by your ears, fingers to face your toes, elbows press up high towards the sky. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, press your low back into the floor. Feel your feet press in even deeper. Inhale, lift your hips, lift your heart, come into full wheel. Just an option, you don't have to take it. If you're in full wheel, press your feet down, lift your hips higher. And exhale, slowly lower yourself all the way down towards the ground. Wherever you were, bring your knees in towards your chest. Counter that spine. Squeeze them in nice and tight. Then inhale, and then exhale. Let your legs fall all the way over to the left. Bring your arms out to a T. You have an option here to press the right palm into the floor to get into that right pack just a little bit more, or let the palm face up towards the sky. Legs can take any variation that you want. Inhale, come through center, and exhale to the opposite side. Again, taking any variation you want, interlacing the legs or sending them long on the mat. Your head might come to the opposite side that your legs are twisted towards. Inhale, one more full breath. And exhale, unwind, come back through center. Take anything else you want to take. And after all, this is your practice. I'm just here to help walk you through it. You don't even have to know the name of it. It doesn't even have to be a pose. It can just be something that your body needs. Stretch it out. Maybe happy baby or child's pose. Maybe another legs up the wall. Until you find your way into a final resting pose that works for you. That could be traditional Shavasana. Your arms and legs long on the floor. You could bring the soles of your feet to touch, to take Supta Baddha Konasana, knees fall wide open. If you have pillows or blocks, you can place them underneath your knees. Take a couple of rounds of breath to get to this place. And when you're there, take that full body scan one more time. Let your eyes maybe close or soften if that feels okay. Hands can rest by your side or by your body. Check in physically. Notice what still feels tight and tense or what's changed without judgment or critique. Allowing yourself to sink a little bit deeper into the floor. And slowly start to check in with the other three parts of yourself. The mental, emotional, and maybe spiritual parts. Without judgment, expectation, or critique, just seeing where those parts are here at the end of your practice. And when your body can settle down and your mind can rest, let the breath float back to its normal rhythm for a few rounds. Feeling free to rest here as long as you need or want. But if you feel okay, if you feel ready, this is not as long as Shavasana as I would like, but if you feel ready to move on, send your legs and arms long on the mat, reach them nice and strong, fingertip to toe tip, stretch it out. And when you're ready, bring your knees in towards your chest and roll onto one side. The right or the left, either way, there's no right or wrong. Finding a space to just seal off your own practice. Truly making it your practice, maybe saying a prayer or a mantra, maybe a little quote or some chant, whatever works for you, to just signify the end of your practice and seal it off. Maybe it's just taking one extra moment of stillness and quiet for yourself. When you feel ready, with your gaze soft, your eyes closed, find your way back up into a seat. When you get there, bring one hand over your heart and the other hand over that, or maybe rest it open or closed in the lap. Just whatever feels okay for you. Take a full breath in and an open mouth exhale. Let it go. Feel for the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Let it pulse beneath your fingers. Let it vibrate through your whole body. The light, the teacher, the heartbeat within me honors, adores, and is super grateful for the light, the teacher, and the heartbeat within each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming to this class, to your mat, to your practice. Thanks for showing up for other people. I think it truly means and says a lot. If it feels okay, bring both hands to touch, and then your thumbs to your third eye center. Take a full breath in. And together we open mouth, exhale. Tuck our chin down towards our chest. Namaste, my beautiful friends. Flutter your eyes open whenever you're ready. Come back into your practice, back into the evening, back into your night, wherever you are. Thank you so much for flowing and practicing with me.